it's a 9. It's still high, but it's a little bit less, you know?
Mm-hmm.
And they go home and they learn again. And it's like, oh, and people are like, what is wrong with you? Why do you keep doing that? You suck at singing. Why do you keep getting on stage? You suck at as being a stand-up comic. Why do you keep getting on stage? But they do it again. And it's an 8. Do it again. It's a 7. It's still high. Then it's a 5. Then it's a 4. And then eventually, here's a beautiful place. Eventually, it's like a 0. But here's the thing. It is not a 0. Most people think like, oh, I'm going to be doing it without pain. It actually goes from 0 and it immediately goes to joy. It's like, bam, I love doing this. Like, it's just, I love this thing, right? So when you're going after these moments that suck, it's not an enduring forever pain. It's a diminishing pain that turns into this incredible, joyous, loving aspect of this. But it's only going to happen for the people who keep facing that ugly fear over and over. Because here's a statement. You guys write this down. This is what I live by. What you create creates you.
Yes.
What I do, what I go through the dirtiness and ugliness of, it creates this person inside. I'm like, that's who I am, right? And the creation process is the refacing at 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 4. When you get to 0, the reason you have joy is because you know it's who you are and you're dope. Like, I know I'm great. I've done all this. It's who I am now. And then all of a sudden you have this different level of attachment to what you are capable of, and you find peace, you find joy, you find happy. And then people look at you and go, how in the hell are you so successful? How are you doing all these things that I struggle with like it's easy, like it's typical Tuesday? It's not magic. It's like, well, you know what? Because I did them when it was a 10 of pain, and a 9, and an 8, and a 7.
Amen.
And it's all you got to do.
Yep. Me too. I get that. And so you guys write that down. What you create creates you.
Creates you. It's a process.
Let me just take a peek at some of these questions that just popped in here really quick.
Yeah, please do. Hey, everybody. Hello, everybody. I'm in a good mood today. I'm always in a good mood, by the way.
We have a long question here. Let me see if I can open up the whole thing. It doesn't let me open up the whole thing, but what I can see is,
are you creating your identity or fulfilling your identity?
Yes.
It's actually, so Raymond, we've had this conversation before. And I personally believe is a duality in the realm that I believe. I'm a man of faith, and I believe we have an aspect of us that is predestined. I think life has an amazing plan for all of us, and we break it along the way. Whatever opportunities arise, we break it by fearing things, causing problems, not being prepared, being lazy in advance. And so I think your identity is not something that is predestined. I think it's something you create. Because the world's different. The way the world's progressed is vastly different. And I believe in free will. I believe we're given free will to create and do different things. Now, that free will might be something we're freely creating to get us to a destination already planned. There could be a million different paths to the same destination. But I think the interesting thing is like my identity is something I get to logically, spiritually as well create. Because I think spirituality is it's a non-physical attribute of who I am. And when I'm done, on this planet, this physical body's gone, my soul will take off out of here, but it'll be from what I physically created to give my soul a sense of self as it disappears and goes up into the sky, right? So I think the identity is something you create and somewhat fulfill to an extent.
And that's such a beautiful explanation. I don't remember who asked that, but I hope that sort of answers your question, because I thought it was a beautiful explanation. You guys know how much I infuse spirituality into my life, and how I feel like that it ties everything together. So Anthony, can you just give us some insight into this magic, this program that you've created that you recently, have been sharing about this process?
Yeah, so for me, what it boiled down to was how do I make sure this is something that's out of my head? It can't be something that is like, how does Anthony feel about this today? How does Anthony want to talk about this today, right? It's got to be a process you follow. There's a reason why there's procedures and processes to everything in the world that's successful. So McDonald's operates how McDonald's operates. They have a system and a model and a process.
Yes.
And so I created from my life experiences, through client work, through science, through psychology. Like I wanted to figure out, like, what are the parts or stages someone needs to go through that'll get them this end result of making this shift over time to become this person. Now, you can have perspective shifts within the first hour, first videos you watch, and like, oh, I never thought of it that way, and it changes everything. I mean, think about, there's moments that change things. Someone passed away, I get a new job, I win the lottery. Immediately, there are moments, I have a kid, that changes the trajectory of your entire life at times, right? So those can happen quickly. But what I want to know is, like, how do I have a predictable process somebody can go through to say, to take this concept I'm talking about and make it real for them, to really genuinely get there? And so I've got clients that have made like $85,000 in 4 weeks. I've got clients that have launched products in the first 4 days, made 45 grand. I've got clients that have saved marriages like mine post infidelity. People that have lost 70 plus pounds. And it's not because I told them how to exercise or showed them all the strategies for business. A lot of us already had that stuff. We just haven't accessed it. I mean, I bet everybody on here, I guarantee, has read a book or bought a book, bought a course that is sitting in access to unaccessed. For sure. Right? It's like, why? And so the process is called the shift method. And I went back and I said, where do all these things intertwine and work together? And the shift method is very simple, but the depth of it is where the work gets done, these specific exercises we do within it. But here's the 50,000 foot kind of view of it. The shift method has 3 specific stages: see, shift, and sustain. The biggest thing that I had a problem with way early on in my career and in my life of me not being able to make progress, because I was working hard to get things done. We all work. We all do a lot of stuff, and that's the shift phase, right? So a lot of people will do a lot of work and then think of it like this. It's kind of like huffing and puffing to climb a ladder, get to the top of it, and you're like, man, the ladder's leaning against the wrong building. I'm drained, and I got nothing to show for it. Like a lot of people, if you feel that, put some hearts up. But that's what happens. A lot of us will work towards stuff and like, why am I not farther ahead by now? What in the world is going on? It's like this invisible force. I can't seem to figure out why I'm not where I want to be. And so I realized the work is the thing we got to do to change it. But are we doing the right work? And so I need to have my own process to really get to the root of not just the mindset issues or the communication issues, but like the identity aspects. Where was my identity kind of incongruent? Because a lot of us are waking up every day in 2020 with brand new hardware like a computer, but running Windows 95. We haven't really progressed past our childhood because we were all unintentionally programmed when we were kids. Our mom and dad and teachers, colleagues, and they told us what love is, what money's about, what a relationship would look like, what career should be like, what joy is, who's good, who's bad. And we got this stuff ingrained, and we don't even realize we're living and operating from a system without controlling the system unintentionally. So I go back and say, let's take a look at this program, like real. Let's take a look at this very specific aspects we look at. What in the world's going on? Why are you stuck? Why are you here? Why do you keep telling yourself, I've worked so hard? But if you think about it, the dream you have is up here and the level of work is up here. But you keep telling yourself, I've done the most I can, but it's down here. So either you got to get into your head what it takes to work harder or get out of your head that dream. And most people don't grasp this. But once you understand, like, oh, here's why I'm here in the seed phase. Now I can dream at full speed, I call it. Because I think if you think about dreams that we all have, like think about being in a desert, like open road, a nice drop top cherry red Ferrari, full speed. My heart's racing. I'm like, yeah, like I'm full speed. Oh, it's great, right? And then all of a sudden there's a speed bump. What do? I got to slow down, and try to speed back up. There's a detour. I got to drive. I'm going slow again. I have the heart racing's gone. Dreams happen the same way for a lot of us. If we don't see why we're stuck, we don't get to the point of getting rid of that trailer. So now our dreaming's the same way. I can create this thing and I can be on stage and I can have this relationship. I can travel to the world, but I don't have any money. And who's going to listen to me? I don't even have the education. We put speed bumps in because we don't realize what's stopping us. It's subconscious. So once you free yourself up, you see like, oh, here's where I'm stuck. Here's where I want to go. Now I go to the shift phase. Now when I start looking at the actual work to shift, I call it architecting and activating my ideal identity, the ideal identity of your dream. Now we start getting stuff done. Not only you achieve, but you do what's most important, which is you transform. There's this concept called the Hero's Two Journeys, right? And if you think about it, the Mighty Ducks movie, one of my favorite movies. When I was in high school, I used to always watch this movie. I loved it. And there's always like the misfits. You got the kid who's like the juvenile delinquent. You got the chubby kid who's like the goalie. You got the girl who's like a tomboy. Nobody likes her. You got the coach who's this guy who's forced to coach these kids. And you're like, they want to achieve something. They want to get this trophy of the crosstown rivals, right? Even the kid that comes over who's like this stuck-up pompous kid, right? They get through and they work incredibly hard. They create this process to now they win the championship and they feel amazing. They got the achievement. But that wasn't what Disney made apparent. What they made apparent was the transformation. Emilio Estevez got the girl, and the kid has like this stepdad, and the girl feels comfortable in a dress, and the chubby kid's Goldberg the Golan, and there's the Bash brother, like there's all these kids. And I'm like, that's why we did it, because that kid can achieve that anywhere in their life. That human who is working towards the achievement learn things that create the person that could do that. And so in the shift phase, that's what we do. We dig in and we do the mucky, iggy, ugly creation process work. But the back end is, look, you're going to achieve something. That's a positive win, but you're also going to become the person who achieved that thing. And then you can do it on autopilot. It's amazing if you think about what it turns into. And then the last part of it is sustain. The worst that you can do, have success and then have lack of it at some point because you lost track of what you did to get there. You weren't consistent. Because we'll go in spurts. Why people have the yo-yo dieting? Because in their head, it's like, I'm a fat person trying to lose weight. That's what happens. Yo-yo diet. But if I say I'm an in-shape person, you don't slide back down because that's not who I am anymore. That's who I am, right? When you are that person, it progresses differently. So the drive phase of the sustain is like, am I consistently driving in the right direction? Do I have a hive of people around me that make my life sweet like honey, like a beehive, sweet honey, right? Do I have the people around me that create that? And it's just as hard sometimes to get rid of bad people as it is to get great people because we don't always feel adequate or worthy of upper level groups. So some people, they don't enter into that group. They look from the outside like, I'd like to be in that group, but they may not accept me yet. And so I sit in a stagnant kind of purgatory because I don't want to be in these people's group. I don't want to go into here because I may get ostracized. So I'm going to sit here and try to figure it out. And it sucks. It's a very lonely place. But when you express and lean into that, everything blossoms and grows. And then you get to the point for me, which is huge. It's like now I can thrive. And thriving is for me the most incredible part of life. It's what I get to do now. I base on this metaphor. Those of you guys who like hamburgers, you might get this. But it's called marginal utility. If I'm starving and I got 10 hamburgers, the first hamburger is delicious. Oh, yeah, one hamburger is so good, right? Then what happens is, second hamburger, it's still good. Like, I'm still good. I can eat a lot of hamburgers. Third hamburger, like, I'm stuffed. The fourth one's going to come out of my mouth. I'm going to puke it up if I eat the fourth one. So what do I do if I want to feel good again? Well, I got 7 hamburgers. What do? I give them to someone else who's hungry. Now I can feel great again because I'm doing something to thrive. And so the process I work through, as high level as I just walk like over the top, we get into the nitty gritty of this. We work people through to where like when it's all said and done, you have an hour by hour process of what to do, how to do it. It's designed for your identity, not somebody else's, not what success looks like, but like your own scale that you set, the world cannot touch. So not only do you wake up with like joy every day because you know like, hey, I'm accomplishing stuff and feeling good about it, but like you also get to look at your life at some point and like not recognize it in a good way. Like, I don't know how I became the person doing this all the time. And I have this, maybe it's a great body and like my marriage is good right now. And all of a sudden business is going well because I'm not scared of taking that step. I've been sitting back watching everybody else take for the last 6 months, or the book got written. And now I'm doing the lives, like whatever it is you lean into, a lot of it comes in a backside of structuring it, taking action and being clear on what to do and watching things come to fruition as you create. So that, I'm excited if you can't tell. This is what I love doing all day. This is what I do.
I'm so pumped up. I mean, are you guys not just pumped up just listening to Anthony and all his knowledge? And, you know, my phone keeps buzzing because I have these text messages that are coming in for some people who just want to be more anonymous and they don't want to put it on the comments. And, you know, it's, how can I work with you? How can I work with you? Do you work with people? And some people have had some financial changes over the last 5-6 months. And so they just, how can they access this information? What are the different options, the different tiers? Can you share that? Because that's, of course, I would say most of the text messages that I just received, because everyone's fired up. You guys are fired up.
That's the fun part of my job.
Send hearts, let Anthony know how fired up you are. So let us know.
So it's really, it's pretty simplistic. I don't make it this crazy, impossible thing to reach. There's different levels of how I work. I try to personally be involved in every level. I don't want to be separate from the work because I love what I get to do. I love the people. I get to know them, their families. Like I have a weird memory. I remember people from my gym that I first opened it back in 2008. Like oddly, I can find them in public. But I love this. This is something I don't do because it's cool. It's just like I'm, for the most part, pretty siloed in my work. I just have my family and the work I do. I'm not out doing craziness and networking in a million groups. Like I love the work I do in the people. And so the way you access it, we have 3 different programs. It's called the Shift Starter, Shift Incubator, and Shift Accelerator. The Accelerator is more the mastermind. Those who have gone through at least the incubator, they have access to a separate private group to sustain that. That's the hive I created for people. The Shift Starter is a program that allows people to come in and look at really like, what are the things I'm not seeing? It's a very interesting, we'll call them exercises people do, that they're like, I've seen them save and mend relationships that have been broken for 20 plus years. It's some cool stuff I came up with after doing a lot of studies and seeing what people were doing. Like, wow, what if I tweak it like this, try this, and boom, I tried it for a couple years and it works amazing. So Shift Starter is like the unhitch the trailer, let's go to work. The Shift Incubator It's a 90-day, like it's a time collapse process of making a shift. I call it making shift happen. So we go through and we literally just create and architect your ideal identity, understand what needs to be part of it. What exercises do I do to research, create this three-tier research piece. Then we actually develop a plan around that. And the plan getting is going down to like, what is what's called the hard process, the habits, actions, reactions, and drivers for each of the 6 areas we go into. And you start planning this, you condense it all, and it comes down to literal specific steps that you then infuse into your life. I do it myself, and I made a GPS planner specifically for this process. Like, I got this thing created, it's mine. I'm like, I need my own tool to give to people. So I sent it out for free for people. It's a 9-month planner, but it is everything you put into it is the right plan, because people will buy planners but have no idea how to plan. So I was like, I went in and figured out how do we make this all the way just super clear, concrete, structured. And then from there, you have not only me as a coach that I meet with people in cohorts. We have one starting the 22nd, but we meet in cohorts. And so you all go together at the same kind of pace and progress through. But you work with me once a week. Then you have a specific separate strategist that goes kind of step by step with you one-on-one. And they make sure you have the implementation stuff going on. And then there's also hot seats, which means the whole group comes together without me, with the separate person as an implementation person. And it's like I don't want to call it like a private, but it's without the dad in the room, we'll call it. Like, you guys need to talk, chat, organize. That person leads, they know the curriculum. So it's super personalized and dialed in and structured. And so I have a big piece in it and making sure everybody stays on path. My implementation specialist has a piece in it to create that one-on-one and accountability. And the group creates that community, and it on goes. And so it's 90 days and people come out of there creating some incredible stuff. And if anybody wants information on that, or you guys want to find out more about it, I'm on here. Just go to Instagram and send me the word shift. And then I'll be able to reach back out, have a conversation, and kind of talk to you about what it is and get you in touch with my team that can walk you through the whole registration process and even give you more details. I just kind of ran through it real quick, but they have like the bullet points if you want to see access, what the program looks like inside, testimonials, all that fun stuff. But that's it. That's stuff that
that's awesome.
I've been sitting in the back, like the background creating, because I've done this work for so many years. But what I found was there's only so much Anthony. There's a lot of stuff I can do from a stage, but like I want to be in as many people's lives as possible, because this is not a common concept. This is new to a lot of people. So like, how can I expand my ability to reach more lives? And so the last really 90 days myself, I've been taking everything I've been doing at a standpoint of like one-on-one and making it more group oriented to where we can reach more people in this kind of situation the whole world's in right now.
I love that. And I hear you. I'm the same with my culinary alchemy, you know, like how can I reach more people? And I think it's just awesome that you've done this. And a few text messages came in. Is it too late to join if it starts on the 22nd?
What is today?
We
still have September? Of September, 22nd of September. So we have time. And my team, I just was on a call earlier with my team about calls we had yesterday, calls we have today. So people are they're coming through and rolling in. So it's still filling up. And if we get to a point where it's too many, then I then separate it. And so I make sure it's not this crowded bunch of people. It really matters to me that people feel like they are heard and feel like they're touched personally. Yeah. It can't be something where it's just a numbers game. It's just not how I'm built. My mom would hate if I was doing that in my world. And so I add extra times when we kind of get to the overflow level. But yeah, no, it's I'm excited for the 22nd because it's one of those. Awesome. Yeah, it's gonna be a blast. You guys better come on for the ride. It's gonna be some interesting kind of process to roll out here.
It's so awesome. And someone said, are you doing or will you be doing virtual summits? That's a little different than this in the program. So.
It's funny is I have a bunch of interesting, really, really awesome colleagues. I'm not a name dropper, so I'm not going to share all their names, but I got some phenomenal human beings that are part of my world. I've been in my board I'm looking at over here, structuring what I want to do as a summit. Because the funny thing is, every single person you've ever known to have success in your world has had an identity shift. It's just happened. Yeah. If you ask them, hey, what were you like when you were unsuccessful? They'll tell you, like, I'm not even the same person I was. Yeah. Like that should trigger something. And so everybody I know, there's so many deep stories you can dig in and find out about what they did to create the person they are. Now, they may have done it the slow way because there wasn't a process for them. They just kind of figured it out. But like, you can shortcut the process to get there. And it's not only going to be the process I teach, but I want to extract their specific moments because there's so much lost in translation of just words. So I want to have a summit where I have them teach really their, what I call awe shift moments. That's what I call the awe shift podcast I have. I want them to tell their awe shift moment. Like, oh, this happened. It sucked, but here's what I learned. This happened. It was amazing. Here's what I learned, right? Mm-hmm. And if I can extract that from them and give it away in a summit, like that's what would be cool. So I have a list of names and people I'm gonna talk to. That has nothing to do with their expertise, but I want to know their humanity. What is the thing that for them was their identity shift moment, or few of them that may be, that made them who they are?
Yeah, no, that's awesome, and that's so core to everything, and I think that's what everyone is learning about here today. And I'm sure you guys took tons of notes, and if not, you know, we will have this replay back up so you can go back and take a bunch of notes, you know, after this. And I think there was actually a bunch of comments way in the beginning, and I have to scroll all the way back for it.
Scrolling.
Yeah. And then, well, one that came up that really stood out to me was just something that I think a lot of people are feeling. There are a lot of people that have joined in and join on all the time with these lives because they are feeling lost and they don't know what that first step is. That first step may be joining and signing up for your program. Whether or not that's something they can do or not, like, is there something that they can do, like, after they get off this live?
100%, yeah. And I realize that. I've been very aware that there's been times in my life. I mean, when seriously, in 2013, I had to borrow $5,000 from my then ex-wife, who's now my wife, just to get myself along. So I've been ridiculously broke. I totally grasp what it's like, but I need help still. And I can't, you know, there's going to be things where it's like, man, I need some guidance. So what I have is we actually put this together as a wait list that's beginning now. And so I realize that there's the structured work I go through in a curriculum base, but there's also nuggets I can drip, recordings I can send, and little pieces. So we're putting together what's called the Make Shift Happen membership program, which is going to be cheaper. I don't know the price point yet. I want to say around $29 a month. But if you go to anthonytrucks.com, you can join the waiting list. But even outside of that, to be honest, if someone's like, hey, I can't even do that, I need something free right now, and here's what I'll recommend you. It's 3 specific words that I usually have on my intent bracelet, but I broke it the other day because I don't even know. I just broke it. It sucks. I'm going to get another one. But here's the 3 words. Own your shift. Own your shift.
Did I give you bracelets? I can't remember. Did you get a hematite for me?
I might have. Well, you know what it is? I got a My Intent when I went to Craig's event down south, and but I haven't used that one. It's a red one. I might go grab. I know where it's at actually, but I had one I got from the My Intent company. It was nice and braided, and then I think I've worn it too much. I wore it out. But here's 3 words. People take notes on these because these are going to be simple, but I promise they're going to be something you can actually apply now. First thing is own, which means own that there is something you got to work on, and here's where you can figure it out. Look at all the arguments you've had in the last week. What was the core base of the argument? And I would like you to say, hey, even if it doesn't feel like it's my fault, play the game. What if it was your fault? If it was your fault, based on what they're saying and what you might know, let's take the ego away. What could have been the problem? Where could you have been if you played the blame game and tried to blame yourself? What could you own about the situation that was on you? Cool, right? First thing, own up what's going on. Second thing, where can you step in and say, all right, although it may not be my fault, I may have had no cause of this, right? It is my responsibility. It's your responsibility to work on it because no one's going to fly in with a cape and fix your life. They're too busy on their life. You got to accept that fact. There's things that for me, like, it wasn't my fault that I was put into foster care. It was not my fault that I was, you know, my real dad, when I found him, told me that he knew about me the whole time and didn't know how to come address me. Like, it's crazy. Like, there's things that were not my fault, but it was my responsibility to step up and fix my life. I could not be in the place of giving the power all the time. I don't own those things. I got to work on. I got to forgive. I got to work on it, right? And then now that I know this, unfortunately, there are people in our lives who they know there's something wrong and they know it's on them to fix it, but they don't. They keep medicating. They keep sleeping around. They keep making excuses. They keep causing problems. They're a tornado in their own life. Shift. The last word is you got to shift. And the shift is kind of we'll call it an internal and external thing. You got to shift the way you see things, the way you operate, the way you perceive, the way you react to certain situations. Like in our crazy world right now, I'm in a very interesting space because my clients, they're all having to react to the world. Some are doing it properly, some are doing it poorly. But whatever your reaction is to a world you have no control over will create your future. If I get angry or I lock in or I don't forgive or I place blame, there's a lot of things. And so the shift is that. And then also shift your actions, the way that you show up in the world. Again, what you create creates. Your actions lead. Do the best you can to take a look at your life and say, what actions, big and habitual, do I need to put in my life to make some changes? And it's that simple. I mean, there's a lot of depth to it when you really get down. But if you're like, hey, I got to start something now, and I can't pay for anything, own your shift. Start there, and I promise you'll start seeing some things change.
For sure. I love that you guys own your shift. This is, I mean, Anthony, every single time, I mean, we've only been on twice, but both times, you know, it's been such a powerful conversation, and there's just so many things that resonate with me. I know there are things that resonate with the audience as well. And this is, I just appreciate you so much. I mean,
Yeah,
you spending
welcome.
the time and the passion that you have to help people, and especially right now, you know, this is so it's so important, and it's empowering people. You know, it's
Yeah.
just reminding people that you have it within you to change your life, to shift your life, to achieve
Yeah.
your dreams. And Anthony can help you get there. And there's a bunch of different ways to do it. So you guys, I have it pinned as a comment on the very bottom. Anthony Trucks, that's his Instagram account. Your website is the same, right?
Yeah, I'm the only person that I know of in the world with the same name besides my son. So Anthony Trucks. Go looking
Wow,
for
that's
that. You'll
awesome.
find me.
I think there's like 7 Serena Poons.
Yeah,
So
yeah,
thank
that's
goodness
me
for my
so
middle
far.
name.
Yeah, and I'm okay with waiting for a third one for a good, like, another 10 or 15 years. He doesn't need any babies anytime soon.
Well, you guys go to Anthony, give him a follow if you don't already follow
Yeah, reach
him,
out.
and message him. You get back to all your DMs or comments.
I do,
and message
personally.
the team. It's so important. Like, this is, as soon as you get off this live, this is something that you can do for yourself right away and own your shift. You know,
Own your shift.
something that
Yeah.
you can do this. And I love that you said that. Just like, think back on your week. Think back on your, what is the core? What's the root of all
what were
the problems or
confrontations?
disagreements? It's such a good thing that all of us can do. You know, because we're all
Yeah, because they're
human.
there. They happen in my marriage. I mean, I have
Of course.
weird little arguments about, like, for example, my wife has been kind of in a funk the last couple of days. She's not mad, she's not sad, but I understand that I'm poking at her. I'm in a good mood like 95% of the time.
Mm-hmm.
So like I'll poke her and I'll realize like she's been a butt, but like, to be honest, if I own up to myself like she's not,
Mm-hmm.
I can't expect anything more from her than she expects from herself in the moments.
Mm-hmm.
So if she doesn't expect herself to be on right now, it's
Right.
not my place to come in and force her to be, you know, in a different
Right.
position. So like, those are things I'm a human being. I navigate emotions without human beings. And so, yeah, there's always these areas for me to look back, and I do the work I talk about. I use the same planners. I've never been a person who will tell you to do something that I'm not currently or have done multiple times myself. I don't believe that it's the right thing to do to tell someone how to run a race and cross the finish line of. So I've crossed a bunch of finish lines, and now I'm like, okay, great. I crossed this finish line. If I was running the race and I was like, hey, I'm running, and I made a right, come with me. I could have made the wrong turns. But I crossed the line, looked back and said, hey, you know what? I made a right back there. You shouldn't have made a right. You should have went straight. Don't make that left. That would have been, hey, but make this left. I realize it's faster. Someone else told me, right? So I cross these finish lines. Now I get to go back, and like, I love the fact that I get to take all the craziness of my life and make great stories for other people's lives as well.
For sure. I'm in such agreement with you about that, because I'm the same way. You know, I won't give advice
I can tell.
that I haven't already done, and whether it's a diet in nutrition, whether it's a diet or a program, like, I'll try everything first. I'm always my first guinea pig, and I know every single person is different, but I have had to at least have tried that protocol, that modality, that diet, that food myself first. So, and I love that, because I can't remember what conversation I was in or that I was listening to, and it was talking about how so often, like, let's say you're in business school, you know, and there's a teacher, a professor that's teaching me something. Well, are they a business owner, you know, or are they just your professor? It's so different when you're learning from someone that's actually gone through it, and like what Anthony said, has crossed the finish line, has tested, you know, all these different ways. It's a completely different learning. It's a completely different university of life. And so I love that. And then just real quick, just a little tidbit from, you know, the spiritual feminine me. It's a full moon. So that may be why your wife might be a little bit off a little bit. And so I think you had a spray. Did I send you one of these?
You did. You sent me a great package of stuff.
Yeah. If I sent you one of these,
yes, you
I'm
did.
telling you, whether or
spray
not
it on the pillow?
give it a try.
All right.
Give it a try. It's an aura cleansing spray. It's been Reiki'd. I've Reiki'd it. It's infused with all kinds of magic. Just like if she's like being as you said, if she's being a butt, just like, you know, just bring a little bit around her, or like,
I'm gonna try that.
Or like,
you know what's interesting is in her world.
What?
I have the candle too. I have a collection of. I'm gonna get that out. So I'm not even joking. I really will do it. She works in special ed, like special needs. So she owns pretty much an adult residential facility. So adults that live there 24/7 that her staff takes care of, and then a day program for individuals throughout the day who are unable to actually go to school. So she works with like, 70 something clients. But it's interesting is whenever there is a full moon, it is notated, documented that actually their emotions and their behaviors actually fire up. So it's very interesting you say that. And maybe I just get really happy because I'm extra happy right now. I think I'm just in good moods with all the stuff going on in the world.
Yeah, so try that. Burn the candle, everything, and you'll feel the magic. I get that feedback a lot from, clients and customers and everything, especially if she's working in an environment like that. I'm sure a lot of those energies kind of stick with her. So
yeah. So, you got Evan Carmichael. Do you know Evan?
I don't, but good to meet you, Evan.
You got to get Evan on.
Okay,
yeah, he's a powerhouse. Evan's a powerhouse. If anybody is interested in trying to figure out how to do amazing things on YouTube from a guy that has the guy's heart, it's got to be 3 times the size of his body. But you got to, Chef, you got to come and get connected with Mr. Evan Carmichael.
This is so synchronistic. We need some help with that because we don't know what we're doing.
Ooh, hey, you guys, I'll put you guys either reach out to each other or I'll put you together in a message, but I'm going to do that ASAP for you.
Okay, perfect. Yeah, we'll just group text and figure that part out. So thank you. So, okay, you guys, if you don't have any other questions or if you have more questions, I can check my text real quick. Send them to Anthony. Send them direct. He's obviously the most awesome person. I'm so grateful.
And I'll personally respond. Fun. Yeah, it'll be somewhere even if if you just have a question for me, you're just curious about life, by all means, whatsoever, just send me a personal message. I'm just a human being. I love chatting with human beings. So if you guys want to chat, reach out. If you're interested in the programs, send me a message. Regardless of what it is, I love what I get to do, and I love doing it even without people paying for it. We'll call it. I enjoy it. So reach out.
I feel you. We're the same, and I love that. I feel that about you, and I think you guys have all stuck on with us. Thank you so much. I can't tell you how much I appreciate that you guys tune in and then you stay on and you're engaged and you ask questions. You guys are just the best. So grateful for you, and so nice to meet a lot of you that are probably coming from Anthony's channel. And Anthony, this has been awesome. And you guys, I will definitely, what we do is we always save the video and we get it cleaned up as much as can be because usually the AV is a little off because of Instagram. We try to clean it up and then we'll put it back up. So if you missed anything, if you logged in later, all of Anthony's wisdom will be up and available, and we will share it on Instagram when it's up, and then you can go to the link and watch the full videos in Facebook. So that's it. Anything else to add, Anthony?
No, have an amazing rest of the week, and then we got Labor Day weekend ahead. People just enjoy life. Doesn't be craziness going on. Just create whatever you put your energy into is what will create experience for your life. So even if you have a bad day, go do something you like doing. It'll change it pretty quick.
Yes, for sure. All right, you guys. Thank you, Anthony. Thank you,
Welcome.
Guys. That was so much fun. And you guys, I will be on in about an hour with my next guest, with Carissa.
There you go.
So yeah, if you have time, jump on. She's a firecracker. She's super cool.
Awesome.
But I'll see you guys really, really soon. Thank you so much.
Take care.
Thank you, Anthony.
Welcome. Thank you.
Bye.